Welcome back to the Thought Leader Recruit podcast. I'm Sam Bylett, and today I'm joined by Nick Morrison, CEO of Potere Search. Nick, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here, Nick. Yeah, so can you just first of all, first tell me a bit about the company and what inspired you to launch the firm?
Yeah, we're the trusted recruiter for scale ups. And so we help companies rapidly scale to 500 million and beyond, all different industries, all different types of services and products. And I guess why I started it is that I didn't think anybody else was doing it right. As probably a lot of entrepreneurs experience. I looked at the marketplace and I'm like, gosh, this is so important. Workers that come into companies that are running companies, it's vital that we get the best people and the best connection in order to advance those companies. And also for people, there's so many people that I'm sure, we all know that are upset about their jobs or in the wrong jobs or, whatever it might be. And so I'm like, gosh, this has got to be done better. Companies deserve to be successful and people deserve to be in their dream jobs. And so let's go see if we can make it happen.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And what kinds of teams or sectors do you find yourself working most closely with?
About everything. I mean, we've got clients from pest control to nuclear energy, and pretty much everything in between. SaaS products, a lot of manufacturing and distribution. It's really kind of like a wide gamut. And so for us, it's less about what industry it is or what type of products or services that they deliver, and more about that scale phase. And our recruiting model, the new era recruiting model, works on any search, any place, any role in any place. And so we can confidently deliver the best people regardless for them. So anyways, we just I like that growth phase. And for us, a lot of the same leaders, the C-suite leaders, run different companies. So they could be in manufacturing and then go to SaaS or go to real estate. And it's pretty common for them to change industries.
Yeah, yes, sure. And I saw the other day McKinsey stat. They recently said that nearly 70% of scale up CEOs feel like hiring is actually slowing their growth. Does that line up with what you're seeing, and how do you help companies break through that?
Yeah, probably so. I consistently hear from CEOs that they're having a hard time finding the best people to grow and scale, or having a hard time, breaking past 100 million in revenue, and the belief is about people. So for us, like we noticed that problem, and we designed our recruiting model to be goal-based hiring. So we hire people that are, yeah, they're a great fit for the position. They're qualified and they can do the role, but even more so, they're the best equipped in order to take the company in the direction that they want to go. Most of the companies that we work with want to scale to 500 million or scale through a significant phase, and so we hire the best people that are sure they're qualified in order to do the job, and also the best people in order to scale the company.
Makes sense. And you mentioned this goal based hiring model and this 10-point dual side match system. Can you unpack that for us a little bit, please?
Yeah, it's really to honor the promise of companies being successful and people being in their dream jobs. And so our 10-point match is split in two. So we have 5 criteria for the individual and 5 criteria for the business. The categories are the exact same regardless, but each position is a little bit different and each person is a little bit different. And so we ensure that, yes, the company is getting the perfect person, and then also the individual, the person that's accepting the job, they're in their dream job as well. From what we found is and we just call it the dream job. That's how we categorize it, but it's really what that person is intended to do and like what they want to do. And so those people are the most productive and they stay around the longest. And that's really what our clients need. These companies that are scaling through this significant phase, they need the best of the best, and they need people that are dedicated and bought in and believe in the mission.
Yeah, sure. And on the tech side, I know you're using AI in some creative ways, not just to reach candidates, but also the harder to find passive ones. What kind of impact has that had for your clients?
It's been huge. I want to say it's the secret sauce to what we do. I think there's a lot of unique things that we do, but our ability in order to go out and find everybody who is qualified for the position in order to narrow that down to the best of the best is just really unique. And it's easier today than ever before. There's AI and machine learning and all sorts of technology that really helps us do that. because it does take a lot of research. We used to do it manually, by individuals, and we still do, a bit of manual processes today, but that's probably where AI and machine learning have helped us the most, is in the research aspects and identifying all of the best people that are qualified for these positions and then reaching out to them in unique ways. Because people are active in different areas, but we need to go and interact with them wherever they are the most. There are some people that are on Facebook more, some people that are on LinkedIn more, some people respond to text messages more, some people respond to phone calls more, some people respond to, sort of the emails or friends or referrals, or sort of the list goes on. And so AI and machine learning helps us identify those people and also identify where they're the most active. So that way we can engage them and get them in the process, and as soon as possible. We don't want that process to take very long.
Yeah, for sure. That's one thing. I mean, AI has just changed the game. The deep research section is just, it's incredible, isn't it? And that's really kind of helped everyone out, I think, in the long run.
Yeah, we want to instill the human touch as much as
Yeah, for
possible,
sure.
and so we don't want to replace the human with AI. But if we can have it focused on the research, then we can spend a lot more time interacting with individuals. We can spend more time interacting with our clients to better understand where they are and where they're going, and then also spend more time with candidates, ushering them through the process. We have a higher likelihood of finding the best match.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, let's switch over to talent for a second. With the market being super competitive, how are you helping top candidates stand out, especially those in high stakes roles?
For that, I think of it less as like helping the candidates stand out, and we're really highlighting the people that are most qualified for the position. So in any given role that we're recruiting for, on average there's like 220 qualified people for that position. And so what we're doing is highlighting why the people are the best of the best. And so, we stack rank them all 220, we reach out to them, we take all of those that are interested, which is typically about 40 to get 220 people that are totally qualified. About 40 are typically interested in interviewing for that position at the time. And then we stack rank them. So here's, the most qualified, the second most qualified, the third most qualified. And so for us, it's not a matter of selling a candidate to a client. That's not our process. What our process is a company needs the best person for that position, and we help them identify who the best people are. And normally it's five, so they interview five and then hire one. But we highlight why the five people are the best, and it's their criteria. It's not my criteria or why I think somebody is the best. We really take their criteria, line that up to the individual, and bring that to them. So it's a matter of, probably bringing out some of the projects that people have worked on, some of the unique impacts that they had, and helping them understand, really get present to what they actually did in previous businesses that will help them excel in this new business that they want to join.
Yeah, for sure. It's getting that right person for the right job. That's half the battle, isn't it? I suppose.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. And there's another stat I see the other day. I think it's 61% of companies say they can't find good candidates, even though application numbers are, through the roof. Is there really a shortage, or are businesses just not looking in the right places, would you say?
They're not looking in the right places. Like, yeah, it is a tight labor market. I get that. Effective unemployment is almost at zero, and so it's extremely low. But what most companies do today is put up a job posting and expect the best people to show up. And what's happening today is that it's easier to apply for jobs than ever before, using technology and AI. And so you get a ton of applications, yeah, but who's to say those applications are even qualified? Or if they're qualified, are they the best people? And so I think that's, I often equate it, or the analogy goes, it's like, most businesses don't put up a billboard along the highway and then expect the best customers to show up. It certainly wouldn't happen in my business. If I put up a billboard along the 101 in Scottsdale and said, I do recruiting for scale ups, I'm looking for scale ups to do recruiting for, give me a call, it's not going to happen. Or for me to expect that I'm going to get the best companies to give me a call and to work with me just doesn't happen. So what we do is, like, for our process, yeah, we put up postings, but it's really in order to give more information out there to people. And then we actively engage the people that are the most qualified and get them into our process. And so it totally makes sense. I mean, 61%, honestly, it sounds low. I thought it'd be higher because most companies, the vast majority, are, putting up these job postings that's like a job description, and then they're expecting the best people to show up, and it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, for sure. Employee branding is something that comes up a lot on this podcast. In your view, what does a great employee branding look like to you? And What do you think most companies are missing?
I think great employee branding has to do, it really centers around an offer. And I think that's where maybe some companies are missing out. A lot of job postings or job advertisements, or even the way that they engage people is like, we are seeking. So we're seeking a qualified marketing manager to join our SaaS company. And you really got to share the story and the brand. So what does somebody get out of it? For us, we've got like a pest control services company. So if we go out and engage the marketplace and say, hey, we've got this pest control services company, do you want to come and be a senior financial analyst there? That's not very attractive. But if
No.
we say like, hey, we've got the fastest growing business in Arizona. Their mission statement is to create the happiest family in the world. We've got incredibly intelligent people there that are rapidly scaling the business. If you choose to join this company, you'll be taken care of. You will enjoy working there, and you'll have your career. Sorry, I'm forgetting the words that we say. Set on fire is about what I was going to say, but I meant to be growth, right? Not like in a bad way, but so that's what the offer is. If you join this company and you dedicate yourself, you're going to be well taken care of. You'll be happy, and your career is going to rapidly grow. And so it's a matter of like sharing that story. And most of the businesses that we work with, they don't have an employer brand. There is no employer brand because companies don't, or people in the marketplace don't know about them. Some of the businesses that we work with are only like 3, 4, 5 years old. Some of them are closer to 10 years old, but they're not widely known. Early in my career, I recruited for like Intel and Apple and Uber and McKesson and all these companies that like the employer brand was already there. It was set. And so people already knew what Intel was about and what their culture was. But for us in the businesses that we work with today, we share that story. And I love it actually because we can create the narrative. There's less preconceived notions about what the business is, and we can authentically share what the business is up to today and where it's going. So, anyways, I think it really centers around the offer and what the exchange really is and what you're getting into, and then sharing the story and what people get out of working at the business.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, storytelling is crucial, isn't it? In employee branding for sure. We've seen obviously a lot of innovation in recruiting tech in the past, say 3 or 4 years. Are companies keeping up?
I think so. Yeah, I think some companies are probably using it too early, and like as far as recruiting goes, a lot of companies don't have their hiring process clearly outlined. And so they're like throwing tech at the problem as opposed to outlining the process and then going back and implementing tech where you can. And so I think companies would be better suited to do that. So are they using it too early or not using it enough? Probably so. Everybody could utilize technology a bit better, but I think most companies would be best off in order to define their process and then go back and look at where we can implement AI in order to improve it, as opposed to just throw technology at it or just purchase technology because that's what the buzzword is today.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And what are you seeing on the remote versus in office front? Has the dust settled there, or is it still a mix?
It's definitely still part of the conversation
Yeah,
almost every time. And people have there's a lot of different beliefs, but most companies have fallen into this hybrid model, where you work in the office, 2, 3, 4 days a week, and then you work remotely, the rest of the time. So that's where it seems like most companies have fallen. There's still, I don't know, probably 20 or 25% of our marketplace that we work with that's fully remote. Like they don't have an office, everybody works out, and then probably another 20 to 25% where they work fully in the office. But the majority of companies are doing the hybrid model.
yeah. I think that's the way forward, right? I think there's no real wrong answer in this huge debate. I think sometimes it works for companies, sometimes it works for the individual, but I think the main point is for companies now to be more flexible than rigid. I think that's the key point there.
Yeah. The conversations that we have with our clients will ask are like, how do we get the best talent? And those are the conversations that we're having behind closed doors, or like, how do we get the best talent? And the numbers show that the majority of people want hybrid. And so if you work fully remote, you lose out on some people. There's probably only like 15 or 20% of people that want to work fully remotely. I know the statistics are maybe a little
Yeah.
bit rough, but there's a small section of people that only want to work remotely. And on the inverse, there's only a small section of people that want to work fully in office. And so the majority of people want this hybrid type of model. So that's how you get the best talent. Also, the leading research shows that that's how you get the most amount of productivity is by giving your employees choice. Now, that's like a broad statistic, right? But if companies want to, for our conversations, if you want to have the best talent, you got to do some sort of a hybrid model.
Yeah, yes, for sure. And looking ahead, what do you think the big recruitment trends that will shape the next few years? I mean, obviously AI is going to be probably top of the list, but is there anything else you can think of?
I think for the recruiting industry, for us service provider, for us people that are doing this as a profession, I think it's going to change from inventory based to service based. Today, a lot of what recruiting is like, oh, I've got 3 people. Do you want to hire one of them? Or like, here are 3 resumes. Do you want to hire somebody? Or in staffing, it's just putting people in. And I think it's going to transition from that to being a service, where people are going to ask companies, okay, exactly what it is that exactly what's going to work for you, and it's not always going to be people. I think that's maybe a little bit of a longer term trend when recruiters are going to be more involved in, yes, in recruiting people, but also in recruiting AI agents and robotics and maybe some other things. And so I think the predominant trend in the next 3 to 4 years is that we're going to switch from being inventory based, like, hey, I've got some resumes. Do you want to hire one? I'll charge you a fee. Switching to what exactly works for you, what's ideal, and I'll go find you the best person or AI agent or whatever it is. I'll find you the best solution that fits exactly for that. So more of a service that you're delivering to somebody.
How often do you see companies lose out on great talent just because maybe they've moved too slowly or they get out offered?
It happens all the time, but I don't often see them losing out on the best person due to timing.
Right.
Like sometimes it's painful. You get through the process and there's somebody that like, you fall in love with, right? You're like, oh my gosh, they're the best person. I couldn't imagine my business running without them. And then they don't work for whatever reason. They take a different offer or they take a counter offer, or they decide to stay with their company or whatever. Every single time that there's some better candidate that timing wise didn't work out or something else. So like, yeah, companies lose out due to people, but I still believe in the philosophy of hire slow, fire fast. I think that's still a good philosophy. So I don't want companies, in order to speed up their hiring process, because they may lose out on somebody. I don't see that happen very often, where they lose out on somebody and then there's like nobody else, or
Yeah.
now they're hiring bad people. Maybe every once in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And what's next for Potere? Any exciting updates? Any new markets you're planning to go into?
Yeah, we're going to expand geographically. Next is we've got a couple of different regions that we're going to expand into, Texas being one of them, Denver, Seattle, a couple of other cities that we're targeting, and then a number of other ones that we're looking to. So we'll start to expand geographically, and then also start out unrolling, or at least unleashing some of our own technology. We've got some that we're building in the background and that we're using for our own as well. And I think that'll probably be what it is for us for a long time as well, building technology that helps us really advance, and then also our clients as well. So you'll see a little bit more technology forward out of us, a little bit more this year, and then start to expand geographically.
Good stuff, exciting times. And for our audience, how can they find out a bit more about yourself and what your company does?
Yeah, the best way to find me is on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. Potere Nick is my handle. And then you can find us at poteresearch.com is the website where you can learn more about us. There's videos, blogs, a lot of information on there.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Nick. Really appreciate your time today. It's been a great conversation. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Sam. Good to see you.
Cheers.